In our previous video, we were discussing third chapter of your literature book. Today itself, today again, we will start from the remaining. We will do the remaining part of that chapter. Open page number 29, and we will start today from the third paragraph. The party sat silent while Alice thought about ravens and writing desks, which wasn't much. When all of them were done with wordplay, everyone was silent. Everyone was sitting silent on the table. No one was speaking. And meanwhile, Alice thought about the riddle, about the raven and the writing desk. The Hatter was the first to break the silence. "What day of the month is it?" he said, turning to Alice. He had taken his watch out of his pocket and was looking at it uneasily. And when everyone was sitting silently on the tea table, it was the Hatter who spoke first, who broke the silence, and he asked a question to Alice, the little girl. He asked about the date, which day of the month it is. And he also took his watch out of his pocket and looked at his watch uneasily. Alice thought a little and then said, "The fourth." And since Alice was Alice was indulged with, the finding with the answer of riddle, the connection between ravens and the writing desk. So suddenly, when the Hatter asked the question, she came out from the thought and took a little time and answered. It is the fourth day of the month. 2 days wrong, sighed the Hatter. "I told you butter wouldn't suit the works," he added, looking angrily at the March hare. And when he knew the date of the month, the day of the month, and looked on his watch, he found that his watch is running 2 days behind the actual date of the month. And that's why he told 2 days wrong. And then he looked at his watch and found something wrong with it. And then he angrily looked at March Hare and said him that, "I told you earlier, I had warned you that butter wouldn't suit the works." "It was the best butter," the March Hare meekly replied. And then the hare replied him very softly, very quietly, with very calm voice, very calm sound, that it was the best butter. I had searched for the best butter, and I had found it, and the butter was the best. "Yes, but some crumbs must have got in as well," the Hatter grumbled. "You shouldn't have put it in with the bread knife." And then the Hatter replied him, "Yes, I know it is the best butter. It is the best butter, yes. But since you have put the butter in the butter with the bread cutting knife knife we use to cut the breads, and that's why some tiny parts of the bread are stuck with the knife, and since you have put it with the knife, and that's why a few tiny parts, tiny components of the bread are stuck with the watch as well." The March Hare took the watch, then dipped it into his cup of tea, but he couldn't think of nothing better to say than it was the best butter, you know. And then Marsh Hare took the watch from the hatter's hand and dipped it into his cup of tea so that it could wash out all the tiny parts of bread, and he returned it to him. And he was not able to think any better answer than to say it was the best butter. What a funny watch, Alice remarked. It tells the day of the month and doesn't tell what o'clock it is. And when Alice got to know that this watch is a faulty watch, it says about the day of the month, about the date, but it doesn't say about the time. Why should it? Muttered the hatter. Does your watch tell you what year it is? And then the hatter replied Alice, why should it tell the right time? Does your watch tell you what year it is? Of course not, Alice replied very readily, because it says the same year for such a long time together. And then Alice replied him, no, my watch of course doesn't tell the year, because year does not change regularly, does not change rapidly. It does take the whole 1 year to change, unlike the day of the month, which changes every day, and the time which changes with every second, which is just the case with mine, said the hatter. And then hatter replied her, that's the same scenario, that's the same condition with my watch. Alice felt dreadfully puzzled. I don't quite understand you, she said as politely as she could. And then Alice was very confused with his answer. She was not able to understand that watches to know the time. We use watches to know the time, or maximum it could tell us the day of the month. But no watch tell us what year it is. And that's why she was very confused with his answer and told him, I'm not quite, I don't quite understand you. Have you guessed the riddle yet? The hatter asked Alice. And then the hatter again switched the topic and asked about the puzzle, about the riddle. Have you found any answer of it? No, I give it up, Alice replied. What's the answer? And then Alice told him, no, I surrender. I quit. I didn't find any answer for that. You tell me what's the answer. I haven't the slightest idea, said the hatter. Nor I, said the Marsh Hare. And then the hatter told her that I have absolutely no idea about the answer of the riddle. And the Marsh Hare followed him by saying, nor I, कि मुझे भी कोई आइडिया नहीं है इस पहेली, इस रिडल के बारे में. Thank you very much, students. This was for the day, and we will go through the remaining part of the chapter in our next video. Thank you very much.